Welcome, everybody, to Three Kobolds Gaming, where we play Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And tonight, we continue our Heroes of Absalom campaign. We're coming fresh on the heels of some amazing Pathfinder news. A couple of things. One, Paizo has just dropped 2 brand new classes for playtests, but
playtest.
you know, we're getting there.
One step at a time.
We're going into an arc of Paizo Pathfinder lore, where there's going to be a lot of shakeup in terms of the setting. There's a war in heaven that is about to break out, or war. Yeah, I mean, it's called War in Heaven, but it's not just confined to heaven. So along with the stuff that we've already talked about, where they're shifting all of the kind of basically everything to get off of the OGL from Wizards of the Coast and onto their new license, they're changing a lot of the terms, a lot of the setting to be completely original while still pulling on those threads, right? So the themes and ideas are the same, but a lot of things are getting rewritten to utilize terms and I guess ideas and lore that is distinct to Paizo's original IP. On top of all that we're getting with the re-release of 2nd edition, or the 2.5 if you want to call it that, we're getting this update to the story arc. And along with that, we're getting 2 new classes, which have just been revealed to be the Animist and the Exemplar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exemplar.
I just blanked on the name where I was going to say it, but I was like, wait, is it the Exemplar? I am so excited because we're getting possibly one of the wildest casters and wildest marshals that have ever been released. The Animist is going to be a spontaneous or a prepared caster, much like a wizard, who can choose a different spirit each day that gives them spontaneous spells based on the spirit that they choose.
What?
And they will have focus points. So usually, casters will have 2 of the 3 kinds of spells. They'll be either a prepared caster with focus spells, or a spontaneous caster with focus spells. Animist is just like, I'ma do all
A little
of it.
bit of everything.
Hey, baby, I can do it all.
And the first thing that people realized was that if you could find a way with an Animist, because each spirit that they take has a focus spell that is duration of sustained. So we get the whole new sustained action. You cast the spell for 2 actions, you sustain each subsequent turn for 1 action, and it keeps the spell going. If you could find a way to long rest while maintaining the sustain action, you could change spirits on the following day while still sustaining the focus spell from the previous spirit, and then start the second spirit's focus spell for sustain.
I'm so sure that won't get changed.
In effect, having 2 focus spells running from 2 different spirits at the same time. And
I'm sure that's going to stay around.
I forget all the math,
I'm so sure.
but somebody did it. And they were like, this is legit, this is legal, enjoy.
At least for now.
So, yeah, exactly. Well, that's why we playtest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's really cool. And then we have a really interesting full martial exemplar who is literally a demigod. Just like, imagine Hercules, but as a Pathfinder character.
Or for more recent audiences, Maui.
Maui.
from Moana.
Yes, and both are
Very
pulling
recent
very
knowledge.
heavily from Polynesian and Pacific Island culture, which I love, which a lot of people in our generation love and are really like yearning to engage with more. Because of the popularity of Moana, but just in general, as we kind of recognize more of the cultural influences from different cultures in RPG media. With Dungeons and
How freaking
Dragons.
rad Polynesian culture
Yes.
actually is.
Is,
Like,
is it crazy that Moana was 7 years ago?
shut up.
How dare you?
Hey, why would you come in here with
What
that?
was
I was
all
thinking,
about, huh?
like, you
That
guys
was
said
so
Moana.
rude.
Personal attack.
I was
What
like, wait
the
a
hell?
minute.
That was
is
so
not
rude.
a recent.
Dan, was it more recent than Hercules? Okay, the real
Yes,
myth of
fair
Hercules.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
The real myth of Hercules. Was it more
real-
recent?
So uncalled for. No, as we and Paizo has just done such a phenomenal job with this of beginning to incorporate more of those cultural traditions in their lore, because any fantasy role-playing game that you go play, especially those based off of Gary Gygax's D&D, is just pretty much predominantly
Just
Western medieval
Mm-hmm.
cultural tradition.
Which is rad, by the way.
It's
which
cool,
is like
right?
a really rad way to run a game, and like relying pretty much exclusively on that, you could still make a really cool game.
Yes.
However,
But
We love options.
yeah.
We
but
love
what if?
options at this house.
What if?
So
And why not coexist with like somebody who's from essentially effectively Fiji, and then somebody who's
Mhm.
effectively from Spain, and then somebody who's effectively from like Siberia. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, how cool.
Exactly. There's this really funny post, and I'm gonna get the dates completely wrong, but the like Edo period of Japan coincided with like the gold rush in the United States, coincided with piracy in the
It's all like the
Caribbean.
1840s to 1860s. It's like right around Civil War America that like this could actually happen.
So you could have like a Wild West gunslinger, a swashbuckling pirate, a Ronin samurai, and like one other one I'm forgetting off
That's
the top of my
awesome.
head, but like all canonically in an adventuring party
time frame.
without breaking verisimilitude.
Yeah.
We're getting closer and closer to that every single day with Paizo, which
With
is
Paizo, yeah.
phenomenal. And not just like homebrew Pathfinder 2e, but it's like legit. Like you don't even have to stretch. It's
Basic
all
setting, yeah.
written for you, basic setting. And they did a really good job of that with even first edition, because each kind of country was designed to be its own storytelling genre to begin with. And we're just getting more of that, right? As they introduce the like Minkai region, right? We're getting more of that Chinese cultural influence. And now they're introducing more about golly, putting my foot in my mouth on this one. The Vudran. Yeah, the Vudra. The Vudrani vagrants. Like that entire subcontinent is based off of Afghani, Pakistani, Indonesian, Indian cultural heritage, and we're getting more of that from Pathfinder as they're ramping it up, and that stuff it's all just so cool, right? Because you get to see like what would these cultures in their mythical context look like.
Yeah.
And you get
It's
all
a
the
funny
really cool
thing.
stuff from that.
It's a funny thing to be like to have those analogs, right? Because when you even look at like the map of Galarian, right? Like Avestan just looks like a really elongated version of Europe. And then there's Garund underneath of it, which just looks like Africa. And then you go to the east, and it looks like Asia, and then India. And like Kazmaran is like this weird sort of in the Middle Eastern deserty culture. And so like you have these analogs where like specific countries in Galarian are just basically specific countries in like Earth. But like if you don't, there is other parts of it that like makes it more complex, and so you can reduce it to those analogs, like if that works for you, like if you like need to have that like comparison. But I think it's even more fun to be like, it's like this, but what if this happened? Like
Exactly.
Cheliax is like, what if Spain was just like mostly devils?
Catholic,
like what if Spain
but worship
made it?
Satan. Yeah.
Yeah, what if the Catholics like lost and then like devil like Satan won?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What if
like
the Inquisition was for Lucifer?
let's live there. Why not? What if the Vikings like actually tamed dragons instead of making it up? Like what if they really for real the kings all like had stuff like that? So it's fun because like you can take it or leave it, right? You can like
Mhm.
you can rely upon the analog and make it more realistic for yourself and give yourself that frame of reference, or you can just completely make it up and like not really live in that field and do exactly what the source material is telling you. So I think it's fun.
Bastro, who's your favorite demigod?
Honestly,
Or Dan.
just because of all of my readings
I was
of the
looking at
Percy
Dan's
Jackson
face
series.
and reading Bastro under his name. Sorry, Daniel. Percy Jackson.
from the actual Greek mythology
Perseus is a good
was
answer.
actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just as a kid with reading that series, I also remember learning about it in high school, and I was like, oh, like I kind of already know half of this junk. I didn't realize how cool Perseus actually was
Yeah.
Yeah.
back in history. So yeah, I would definitely go for him.
Okay, so when Bastro finally dies, you can play an exemplar and choose icons to make yourself Percy Jackson.
Just Phantasm Killer me one more time. Let's go. Let's just
Only
end
one.
it.
Yeah, we went off on this cultural heritage. I went off on this cultural heritage sidebar, but the exemplar, you basically have so many combinations. They don't have a specific subclass. They have what are called icons, and you get 3. You have a weapon icon, you have an armor icon, and you have a held or worn icon. And you have a long list of each that you choose from, and then each of them have different abilities, give you different bonuses, give you different actions, and that's your subclass. Is you mix and match to make exactly what you want. And then on top of that, at different levels, you begin gaining epithets. So there's this really cool, like, building of your own story as a character, where at like 5th level you get a baseline epithet. It might be like, Bastro the Great or whatever. And then at 10th level, it's like, and this isn't one of them. Neither of these are one of them, but it could be like Lord of Thunder, like Bastro the Great, Lord of Thunder, right? And then at 15th level, you get your final epithet, and all of these epithets give you, again, different skill proficiencies, different abilities. So it's like the perfect bake your own demigod. It's such a cool idea.
Pretty cool.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
So if you haven't already, I highly recommend going to pathfinder.com/playtest and downloading the PDF of the War in Heaven Pathfinder playtest. This will be a book.
War of Immortals.
War of Immortals. Thank you.
War of Immortals.
Playtest. Checking it out. If you have the opportunity to play, talk with your GMs, play one of the classes, and take the survey. Help Paizo playtest these classes, because it's just so cool. It's so cool. I digress. That was just a place of personal excitement. Coming from another place of personal excitement, Lodge 7. You all have
so much excitement.
I'm back.
And I mean, we're picking up the story just after you defeat the Demi-Lich, Brigadier Geverin. Unsure of what was going on in this strange house, oddities and hauntings seemed to abound, culminating 24 hours after your initial entry into the hunting lodge with Mr. Flackfatter, your charge and ward. Explosions unleashing strange astral creatures from other planes, the lifting of the wall that blocked you from the basement, and a simultaneous attack by the cultists of Norgorber. You all sustained heavy losses, unfortunately losing the last of the called upon help from your friends. But their sacrifice was not in vain. With their help, you were able to push through the Quaelant, push through no less than 5 shining children. An astounding feat, I must say, for literally anybody on Galarian. Very few in lore would actually be able to withstand that, let alone
Yeah, those things sucked.
push through to an epitome of necromantic evil, a demi-lich, Brigtier Gavern. This house was at one point a meeting place for occultists in the area who would come to Absalom to trade and share secrets in this very place, in this very basement, unbeknownst to the powers that be in Absalom. In here, they collected a massive library of occult lore, with which you now have access via the red leather book that seems to whisper secrets and answer questions about any topic that is found in the library. Brigtier wasn't satisfied with the amount and quality of the information collected, and drawing upon the work of her very own father, she attempted a ritual to transform into an undying lich. But her father's works were incomplete. The ritual failed, but still stripped away her mortal body. She was a fading husk of some undead monstrosity, a demi-lich, without a permanent undead form. Thusly, she summoned multitudes upon multitudes upon multitudes of undead beings in an attempt to create a body she could inhabit. You stand knee-deep in the bone dust of thousands of undead creatures that
Oh,
didn't
God.
pass the test.
Gross.
Right.
Until a very special person entered the house. A man with such evil in his heart that it had fully corrupted his body, making him the perfect host for Brigtier.
Wow.
Hoff.
You all
Bastro Valtorin.
No.
managed to kill 2 birds, or in this case, 1 floating skull, with 1 stone. Stopping the ritual from Brigtier transferring herself into Flackfatter's body, which would have unleashed unspeakable evils in her now much more powerful and stable form. We come back now as the skull eye sockets fading from their powerful magic glow, the whipping winds subsiding, and a distinct click as a magical lock disappears from the cage door in which Flackfatter is contained. The skull falls to the ground, gems fading, and you begin to watch as Flackfatter stirs.
Punch him.
What do you do?
I dig through the ash at my feet for the pair of thieves' tools that I dropped.
Yeah, it takes a little bit, maybe a minute or two, but you're able to sort through the bone dust, piled as if dunes of sand, and are able to find it.
Before that
I
minute
gag.
is up, this rock elemental that's on fire just is pounding the ground. And then Fearing turns back into a normal half sylph.
Yeah, you cast
Is-
2 high-level spells just for somebody else to take the kill.
We got the
Happens.
kill, it's all that matters.
So
Happens.
Flackfatter, you say there was runes kind of encircling him, and as well as the
Yes.
15 by 15 cage. Is that still the case? Does he look like he's mobile, or is he being hindered by some magics?
Sure. The runes that were carved into this circular stone, like landing there, are still there. However, they are no longer glowing with magical energy. It seems like whatever ritual was being cast has been ceased with the death of Brigtier.
I think Kashak would stride over to Flackfatter as he's stirring, as you put it.
Mhm.
Can you hear me?
And he's like, he was lying flat on his back, eyes closed. He's now kind of rolling to the side, moaning in pain, just and slowly, painfully sits up, and the eyes kind of gradually focus on your lizard-like form. Seems to be regaining consciousness, if not fully there yet.
Are you injured?
And again, still bound at the hands, bound at the ankles.
So that all stayed. All of our preparation
that
for him
stayed. Yep.
stuck around. Okay.
Still gagged, just kind of looks over himself.
Fearing back in his normal form will come into the room also and do a medicine check on him to see if he has actual bones after being sucked through the floor.
Actual bones. Yep. Okay.
Real bones?
Do an actual bones check for me.
Actual bones check? I have actual bone lore.
Can you roll recall actual bones?
Recall actual bones. So
Fearing
30
is dead.
Oh, I roll an
Sorry.
actual bones check and cease to exist. I have no actual bones.
Your bones fall out of your body.
Your actual bones check is a failure. You don't cease to exist. You just turn into a blob of jelly on the floor.
I joined the bone dust.
Wow.
I rolled a 35 medicine.
35.
Yeah.
Actual bones seem to be intact. Whatever spell caused him to be yanked through solid stone and wood does not seem to have displaced any of his parts. It just was a painful experience as he was interposed
Magic.
against all physical law, was interposed in the same space as other solid matter. Seems to have taken damage, but is otherwise unaffected.
Man, we don't care if we just have taken damage. That's fine.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
like,
okay.
He got off
Yeah.
easy compared to that.
Bastro's going to detect magic.
You detect magic. The skull is foreshore magical.
Yes. I go ahead and identify. Do I feel multiple pings of magic? Is it more than one?
It's just the skull. The skull
Okay,
is very
yeah.
strong magic, but it's just
Yeah,
the skull.
identify magic in a minute.
Sure.
Assuming arcane,
Yes, please.
arcana.
Arcanography.
Yeah, that's exactly. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's going to be a total of 36.
36. That is enough to identify the Demi-Lich skull. Of course, you may have known that it was a Demi-Lich already. However, the skull of the Demi-Lich leaves behind after its soul has been forced out of its body. The process of the Demilich coming into being and its unlife as it continues forces it to essentially not being able to manipulate a spell book, forces it to insert magically inclined gems into its skull. And the gems do not lose their power after the soul that inhabited the skull leaves. So you are left with a number of gems on the skull that can be utilized. Unfortunately, one of the gems in the Demilich's eye sockets, one of the two, has been destroyed. However, one of its eyes still remains intact, and the crown of magical crystals on its head remain. The crown essentially acts as a greater mentalist's staff. So that is, I believe, the 8th level great mentalist staff. Wherein you have access to first level Mind Link, first level Phantom Pain, second level Paranoia, third level Hypercognition, and third level Phantom Pain.
Oh, hypercognition comes back around.
Hypercognition is really good.
It is a very good spell. It currently
Are you?
has 4 charges. The staff also
Oh, sorry.
has a +2 circumstance bonus to checks to identify mental magic.
Decent.
What spell list are you, Dan?
I am Arcana and
With
Bond.
a dash of divine.
Arcane with a dash of divine. Okay.
The more important and arguably more expensive item is the one remaining Demilich Eye Gem, which once per day allows you to cast the spell Mind Blank.
Whoa.
It didn't really come up in our battle, though she did have it cast on herself, so its one use for today has already been expended. But Mind Blank... let me find it here. Yep. Mind Blank gives you a +4 status bonus to saves against mental effects. And saving throws against counteracting detection, revelation, or scrying effects are made as if they were 1 level higher. And on success, the divination effect functions normally, except that it detects nothing about the target and its possessions. So, it makes you very hard to scry against, and it gives you a +4 for anything that has the mental tag in terms of a saving throw.
The success functioning normally, detecting nothing, is way better than anything else because it tells the caster that like you found this person and there's nothing, rather than like you didn't find this person, which is a bit much different
Correct.
result of whatever spell they're casting. It's very, very powerful.
Normally on a success, it would just say that, they would get the idea that they did not succeed. In this case, they succeeded, but they don't get any of the benefits of succeeding, which is in itself useful.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore,
Weird.
for instance, Detect Magic would still detect other magic in the area, but would not detect you as magical or anything that you possess as magical, which is big. That is an 8th level spell, and you can cast it on yourself once per day. The Demilich Eye Gem is a 3,000 gold item, and
So it's
cannot be crafted except by a Demilich creating
It's
the
just
eye
worth
for
so
themselves.
much more to us as a sell than as a keep.
Are you sure about that?
Bastar's the only one that could use it.
Well,
I can barely use it.
we can debate this later, but I have whatever. during the minute that eye gems are being identified and thieves' tools are being recovered, I want to make sure that Jonas is like with us still and is like going to be compliant and complicit with what we're
Sure.
trying to do here.
Would you like to roll a perception check?
Right now, I just want to talk to him.
Sure.
I'll
He's still bound and gagged.
pull the gag down. Jonas, it seems as if you've been through quite an ordeal.
You're looking at him and he just looks gaunt, his eyes hollow, sunken. He's pale. There's just like beads of sweat along the forehead. And he's not making eye contact with you. He's just eyes darting around the room.
I want us to have an understanding. We did not bring you here for this treatment. We brought you here to be held.
You stopped it? Whatever that thing was, you stopped it?
We did.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Thank you.
You're
Good.
welcome. Jonas, I think it's wise for us all to know what else might be coming to retrieve you.
I don't know. I was not expecting that.
But I do imagine you were expecting other things to take place. Those clockwork machines, those people who came in right as you came through the floor.
Your cultists.
Maybe half of those things.
Which half?
Just like smirks.
As I said, it would behoove us to be prepared.
How long is
Is this-
left?
2 days, right? 48 hours? 45 hours or so.
It's been 35 out of 76.
So 36 hours, like about half. We're about halfway through.
So then you still have half a job to do.
I don't imagine that being slurped through the floor was very fun.
Oh, that was one of the worst things I've ever had happen to me. No, not fun at all, but you solved that problem for me.
We did. But it was taxing for us.
Wow.
If there are any parties that you are not aware of or that you are not affiliated with that might be coming after you, we should know who they are.
The clockwork was interesting.
Do you know them?
Yeah. Would you like to roll a diplomacy?
Sure. Or
Just do your
I don't
job.
seem friendly in this
Just-
moment.
Do your job. Shouldn't be that hard, right?
Kishak, I don't know what we have to glean from talking to this imbecile.
Yeah.
He is our charge. He is not our companion. Nothing will be gained from this.
As long as we keep him safe for now.
Yes.
You
That's
might
the
want to
guy.
stay in this room.
Just keep me
This room is-
safe. That's all you have to do.
He'll replace the gag, and then he will walk out and refasten him to Sheethra's saddle. Bastro, I'm not a huge fan of standing around in a room that's knee deep with bone dust. This place kind of sucks.
I got him. I found the tools. Got him.
You like hit the back of the pouch and the dust all falls out.
Where is
We
the
have
most secure part of this house?
But before we talk about that, I do think we should clear something up. I don't think we should talk to him again.
I
don't-
would have to agree. Every time we do, I just get really angry, and I don't think that's good for our general sanity. You know.
We've put the earmuffs, whatever we've got, the ear blockers, the mask, whatever we've got. The sensory deprivation chamber is back on. Who's to say he's not sharing this information somehow with the outside world via some means? We should be giving him as little information about what we're doing, how long we have left, where we're keeping him as possible.
I agree. I've tried my best to hide and obfuscate, but I think you're right. Even one small piece of information could be useful for him. We can't run that risk.
Like the risk you just ran of telling him how much time we have left?
If the party is interested enough, they know how much time we have left.
That's fair.
What?
That is true. No, that's true. If they know we're here, they likely know how long we're going to be here for.
But he doesn't.
Well,
I
he
thought
just
the
didn't
point-
know how much time was left. Like, he just
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
He didn't know how long he was asleep. He didn't know how long he was, like, being tortured.
I just
so.
thought he was feeding information, but
While you all figure out where he should be held, I need to refocus, and Fioren's gonna start refocusing.
Let's go back to the room where the Shining Children were. It's the most safe and the least contaminated with undead creatures.
We want to stay downstairs. We definitely want to do that.
I would like to refocus
I'm pretty hurt.
before we do anything. Yeah.
That's true. Fair.
let's
Yeah.
wait here for now.
Everybody roll me a perception check as you walk into this room.
I'll roll a perception check. Sure.
Gabba beep boop. Is it site based? Am I looking at stuff?
Did
It
you say
sure is
everybody?
site-based.
Everybody roll one? Is what
I
you said?
did, in fact, say everybody.
31.
32.
33.
23.
You had one job, Dan.
Yeah, you missed it, Dan. You missed the mark
I
there.
went
30
all
or
for it.
34 would have been acceptable.
God, so inconsiderate. Everybody but Bastro.
It's true.
I mean, it's actually factually true. You walk in back here to this room. You see nothing has changed since you went into the room adjacent to fight Brigtier.
No, everything has changed.
However, as you're walking in and taking the room in, the three of you notice that where bloodied Burleth had been placed, kind of seated up against one of the bookshelves, you see the edges of his body seem to be kind of drooping.
Wait, didn't we bring him upstairs?
No,
No,
not Burleth.
we never did.
We
We haven't done that yet.
Like the earlobes are beginning to elongate. His nose is like hooking down. His chin and mouth, where his mouth hung open, just like drooping.
Is he melting?
It might be whatever this bone dust thing is. I don't know.
As you get closer, you realize that the skin is becoming a bit translucent. As if made of some kind of gel or ooze.
Recall
Oh,
knowledge on that.
Sure, anybody got alchemy?
Uh,
It's like
Alchemy's
crafting.
not a skill.
Got
Crafting?
craft.
I do, so I'm not refocusing. Yes, I get. If I see this, yeah, I'll roll a crafting.
What kind of training you gotta have with that?
What kind of proficiency do we have?
I'm just trained.
Just trained?
Arcana.
I don't have a training in it.
I
but
will
do have-
allow craft or arcana.
Yeah.
You've untrained improvisation, right?
I have untrained.
Oh, that's a
Sounds like Dan rolled
39.
better than me. Yeah, I rolled a 28
39.
trained. 28 trained craft.
Okay. Basra and Firen, as you're getting over here and you're watching, and it takes a minute for you, like at least 10 minutes for one of you, to see what's going on here. And during that 10-minute process, you watch as the body appears to be like transitioning and decaying, but not in the traditional manner of decay. It seems to be like turning into this goop, this alchemical compound as the form breaks down. Whatever this body was, it was some kind of alchemical amalgamation.
This was real him.
Simulacra,
No,
maybe?
no way.
That's not what simulacra are.
What would I identify what that is?
Yeah. What would I roll to identify this? Is that
You already
was that what we
did.
just, that's what we just rolled?
That's
Okay.
all I get.
All
Okay.
you know is that it was some kind of alchemical
So it wasn't a spell.
being
It was
that
literally
looked like Bloody Burleth.
Did he
it was
make
pure
that?
alchemy.
Is he real? Like, was Bloody Burleth ever a real guy?
No, Burleth had to have sent. He had to have known this was a death wish, maybe, and sent like a fake him. Wasn't that his gang's whole thing? Is that they were like alchemy people?
Well, yeah, that's why that
Golems,
the
yeah.
The alchemy golems, yeah.
But like, what if Bloody Burleth like never was a human or like an orc? Like, what if he's always been this like creation?
I can't.
mean,
Was he like
possible.
is it part of a bigger thing?
I don't know.
What if German Hoff is upstairs? Who knows? Let's just keep going. There's
I
too many
agree. Let's
surprises.
just keep going.
Do we want to post up in this room and patch up
Oh yeah,
ourselves? or-
yeah, rest. Yeah, that's crazy.
We just long rested, right? Like we haven't done our daily preparations, but we did long rest.
No, we did our daily preparation.
Those and I didn't.
Yes,
'Cause
correct.
We're still off. We're still off cycle.
Right.
What happened
It's annoying.
was
I'm trying to fix it.
Firin and Bastro long rested to get you to 35 and a half. So you did, yeah, you're at 35 and a half. After that fight and after this 10-minute check, we're going to call it 36 as
Yeah.
you identified and then got in here and looked at Burleth. That's going to be 36.
Does that include me refocusing or no?
You get one refocus at 36.
Cool.
What do people need for healing?
Because
I'm-
I'm drained, I'm down
You cannot
80.
heal drained.
Yeah.
I'm saying because of drained, I'm only down 80
Gotcha.
instead of.
Yeah, because your max health went down. Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm down 9 outside of drain, so I'm
I'm
fine.
down like 10. It's fine.
Kashak needs 118. Sheether needs 56.
Only?
Jesus.
Yeah, that's it. I almost have 200 hit points.
Wild.
Kashak has 190 HP points.
I think I had like 198 as a 17th level barbarian fighter in first edition. Like,
Yeah.
that is wild to me.
the HP totals, like the numbers, just get so bananas in second edition because everything's like 10 per level
Yeah.
instead of like 1d10.
Yeah.
I will start treat wounds in Kashak. DC 30 med check.
Treat sing woundsings. What you got?
DC 30.
Are
I
we doing
did
any-
not crit fail.
Are we doing any life boosting as well? I'm just trying to make sure I know what times are.
How long are we spending here?
You tell me.
I was asking the party.
I'd like to be
Down.
full health before doing anything else.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, life boost for Kashak and Sheethra. So both of you take 14 times 4, which is I believe 52 points of healing each.
Normal success on my med check.
Sorry,
56.
13, not 14.
13?
13.
Okay.
Yeah.
13 times 4?
Yep.
35 from treat
52,
wounds.
35 from treat wounds on Kashak.
Yep.
13 times 4 is 52. Okay.
52 plus 35. So 87.
Sorry, I put the 52 in. What did I get from the medicine check?
35 from
35.
treat wounds.
Heard that. I could use 35 again. I'm only down 31.
It's not gonna be from treat wounds, bud.
Shit.
Wounds.
Sheether's
well,
fine. She's only
well-
down 4 hit points, but
One more life boost.
Okay.
Porky shock.
thank
So
you.
that's
That's another 52.
10 minutes.
It's way above.
so we're
Okay,
at
if we
20
wait
minutes
10
now.
I
20
would
minutes?
love.
Alright, sounds
I
good.
would love a treat wounds and a life boost. Also.
I will DC 30 med check. Twinkle toes. Nat 20.
Oh,
Crit
nice.
on the med check.
It's gonna be a
Maybe not
lot
even-
of heals.
We might not even need the life boost.
I'm not
Yeah,
even.
everything
realizing-
Well,
Insane.
the crit's actually not that amazing because the only the dice double
Right.
is it's specific, not the
Yep.
bonus.
Maybe if you were a better healer.
8. Yes, 45. 45 from treat wounds.
We
Solid.
have like 3/4 of a healer.
This could probably take. I mean, if you take another, what is it, 52? You should be full, right, from the life boost.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So-
No, I'm.
All right.
Yeah.
So we call it
Bam.
30 minutes, and everybody is back except for Sheether, who's down 4.
I'm down 9, but like we don't need to waste
I'm-
resources on
I'm
that.
chilling.
Yeah. So we're at 36.5.
All right. I'm good.
During this time-
rumors.
Nothing happens.
I heard rumors of a large spider across the hallway.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
there is
the
a
big
massive fuck off spider.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we
Perhaps.
avoid?
Perhaps
No,
we
we killed that
investigate the
thing.
rippling stone wall and then the spider.
That makes sense to me.
Somehow we all forgot about the rippling stone wall. Not sure how that happened.
Oh, it looked magical, and I know I can't do anything about that. So.
Will, could you give me control of German Hoff's token, please?
I don't want to do that because I would give you his character sheet.
What if I promise not to look at it?
I will move German. Did you say
Yep.
German Hoff?
I did.
I
and
will
you did
move
too.
Jonas on top of Shitro when you decide.
Unironically.
I
It's one of
thought
those things
you
where
said-
it's too ingrained now. Like the joke has
It's in
become
there.
reality.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah.
I don't get where it started. Like, you know, I don't
It didn't
remember.
start as a joke. We couldn't remember his
We
name, and we
literally
kept
just-
accidentally calling him
Yes.
German Hobb. And now
We it definitely happened organically, but then it became a joke, and now the joke
Yeah.
is no longer a joke.
it was never a joke for me. It
It's
was
in like
never
my
a joke
brain
for me.
stem. Like
It's
it's,
because-
so far rooted.
It's because Jeremy has been a part of this campaign since book 1, and the name is so close that when you guys were trying to remember the name of the infector when you originally found it out, somebody was like, "It's Jeremy, right? Jeremy Hoff,"
And we all
and
just
that
like
just spiraled out
none
of
of us
control.
were able to shake the idea that Jeremy Hoff's role in the campaign is over. Like none of us are able to like
Yeah.
It's not over. He
Yeah.
continues to publish stories about you, and you have met
Nope,
him.
that's not who it is.
you-
Nope, that's Venka Skerkin.
That's Reginald Benkiskirkin.
Oh,
German Hoff was
German
the
Hoff was the guy
Underlord,
in
Underlord
yes,
guy.
in the
Yeah.
House of the Seven
House
Plains.
of the Plains.
House of the
the
Plains. yeah.
clearly 5th level rogue.
Right.
Sorry. I forgot the name of the reporter because
The reporter, Jonas Flackfatter,
Because we
is the
all-
one publishing stories about it.
like literally he's just the party has a news story. Well, again, so in the original framing, you guys are the
Cop.
the cops that keep
Cops.
getting reported on, and it's just at the end of every book you get a little story about you from this guy.
Yeah, I don't like him.
He's a bit of an asshole, but he's like that. Yeah. That's
I
about
just
it.
like that part is consistent. Like Like,
It is, yeah.
in the original campaign, this guy is just like a guy who is kissing ass at the agents of Edgewatch. But like legitimately, and in this one he's like, look, you guys did these things, don't you love me? And they're like, we didn't do that. Oh god. Like,
You have to stop publishing this. We did not do any of these things.
it goes from like actually reporting on what the Edgewatch does to overcompensating just the cleanup that the Edgewatch does after
Yeah.
you all do the things.
Yeah. Propaganda.
Propaganda.
Let's look at this this rippling not a curtain.
Sure.
This
What
moving
do you do?
stone wall.
What role? What knowledge.
Perception first.
I'd like to recall knowledge on it for sure.
Recall knowledge.
I'll recall knowledge
Okay,
as
that's
well.
gonna be an Arcana.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll roll that.
Do you have to be trained?
Baby.
Bastro,
Yes.
you, as part of recalling knowledge to identify magic, cast and detect magic.
Okay.
I need you to roll a save that I will tell you momentarily.
That's concerning.
What's happening?
How about now?
Yeah, what if I
Played this
don't?
new game last night where like the first 2 turns that were taken were like very explicitly do this. Let's pretend you drew this so that like they could walk you through it. And I feel like Will got some inspiration from that. Now he's just telling us what our characters.
Hey, had him roll.
Yeah, 'cause
What's happening?
I don't think
I don't
Dan
remember
detected
casting
magic.
Detect magic.
As
Yeah.
part of identify magic, you must cast detect magic.
Is he identifying magic or is he recalling knowledge? What is Baster doing?
So identify magic does not require you to detect magic, like cast that cantrip. That's a feat.
But wait, no. Are you identifying the magic or are you just recalling knowledge on moving stone walls?
No, I'm identifying the magic,
Okay, well, let's start there.
but I didn't cast detect magic.
Will, I think you're pulling in spellcraft checks from first edition.
I think you might be right.
Once you
You
discover
do
that
what
an
you-
item, location, or ongoing effect is magical, you spend 10 minutes. For me, it's 1 minute thanks to a skill feat. If you to identify the particulars of its magic. If your attempt is interrupted, you must start over. GM sets the DC of your check. Cursed or esoteric subjects usually have higher DCs. Blah blah blah. Nothing about casting detect magic.
You know what? Once you discover that it is magical, you technically don't know that it's magical.
I got overly excited. I will admit fault here. Go ahead and recall knowledge.
Yeah. I already
Wait.
rolled.
He was identifying magic.
Right.
He doesn't know it's magical.
No.
He doesn't know it's magical.
But it's a shimmering wall.
Doesn't
It
mean
could
it's
be
magical.
alchemical. It could be occult. It could be
Okay.
like some kind of like other thing that's not necessarily magic. So you would probably have to
But I could
detect magic to be able to
I could
identify it.
scour my brain for anything magic related. That
Yeah.
has
That's
to do
recall
with-
knowledge.
Yeah, recall knowledge.
That's
now
recall
you're
knowledge.
recalling knowledge. Okay.
So they're not the same?
No.
No, they are different things.
Recall knowledge and identify magic are two completely different things.
So once you discover that an item is magical, that's the key word.
That's the key phrase. Yeah.
And you don't
Yeah.
know that this thing is magical or not.
Okay. Okay.
On the
no,
on the map, it's a curtain.
you're right. No, that's completely fair.
So meta.
Master will detect magic.
Great. I need you to.
Right.
He sees a shimmering wall. He's going to see if it's magical. And fair enough, Jack, to your point, that's what he would do. Like, I don't understand
No,
the surprise.
you're completely right. It's just so funny that like that's how that shook out.
that is
Right.
a good thing to know now. Identify
actually-
magic is once you know it's magical.
So you know that it's
Yeah.
magical. Yeah.
Yep.
I do apologize. You don't have to roll anything.
Even
We
better.
Does a 46 hit you?
Yes. That's a crit.
I like Ben's reaction there.
That's-
You all watch as Baster is looking at this wall, begins to cast detect magic, and then the wall in its ripples, as if like an item was splashed into a pond. This wall spikes out at Bastro, slamming him dead center in the chest.
I don't like this.
I place. Are you okay?
We'll see.
You said that was a crit?
Yes. 46? Yes, that's a crit.
What level do you think we are? Of course it's a crit.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
You sure that was a crit?
Stop.
Yeah, bro. We're AC 33.
What AC?
Um,
At 46.
I don't know how to put this lightly. A stone spike erupts from the wall, slams dead center into your torso, and deals 134 points of piercing damage.
What is this place?
Just because I cast one cantrip that wasn't even an attack cantrip.
Correct.
Okay. Bastard was unconscious.
I instantly will cast a 3rd level heal on you.
Nothing
2
happens.
actions. Nothing happens when I cast a heal spell on him?
No, nothing else happens besides the heal.
Oh, God, Will. Oh.
I was being clear because I was saying that the
Anti-magic
trigger
symbol.
of whatever happened was from him casting Detect Magic, that you casting heal did not do anything to trigger anything.
41 points of healing on Bastro.
Thanks. I'm wounded 1. Have to what? Wait 10 minutes, right?
Well, you
Or
have to
after-
be
You
full
have to get back
health
to
first.
full.
Health first.
Oh,
now,
my
how does
gosh.
that work with drained?
I believe treat wounds will remove it.
But does drained not let you get to full health for wounded?
No, because it lowers your maximum hit points. So
Yeah.
if you would get to your
Lowers your
new
maximum hit
maximum,
points.
Correct.
Yeah, new max. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Can I get a treat wounds, Mr. Fearin?
Mr. Fearin, treat me some wounds.
So now-
yes.
Thank you.
Until the hour rolls over, everybody but Fearin has gotten a treat wounds.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
DC
Bastro is
30.
literally spitting blood right now.
He's like, Bastro, what happened? What did you do?
I was trying to see if it was magical, but
If it makes you feel any better,
It is.
it is magical.
Crit.
You now know that
Thank
it is
you.
magical. You saw a
I
brief glimmer of that magical sheen before you got absolutely rocked by a stone spike.
49 more points of healing there, Bastro.
thank you. And I'm not wounded.
and you try to identify the magic.
Can you give me a second? All right, yeah.
So if you
identify magic
Roll an Arcana. for
so
me.
targeting this thing with magic
is a bad idea.
is a bad idea.
Wow, that's a 16. So total 39.
Sure. This is what is known as an arcane feedback trap.
No kidding.
Any arcane effect that occurs within its radius, which you would think, for all intents and purposes, is this room plus the hallway up to the stairs, causes this trap to go out. It is like I almost think of it as like a ferrofluid, if you will,
Mhm.
where it's just like
Liquid mercury.
rippling, semi-solid, semi-liquid form that is distinctly attracted to arcane energy. So, for instance, if somebody were to try to teleport to the other side of the wall, they might get slammed in the mouth with a stone spike.
Yikes.
How
Okay.
specific are you about arcane?
Very
Yeah.
specific arcane.
Traditionally, and like tradition concerns, like if it was Fearin who had casted Detect Magic from his primal tradition, would that have set off the trap?
No.
So yeah, I think you share this, and I have my staff has detect magic from the divine. Actually, what? This is an interesting question. What?
What is the staff?
I'm assuming. Yeah, it was the staff of divination.
What is the staff called?
The staff of divination.
Staff of divination.
What spell list would that? Does staffs have a specific spell
I
list?
think your staves pull from your spell
They
list.
pull from my spell list. Yes,
From
it would
your
either be
tradition.
arcane or it would be either primal or divine for me.
I think Kashak would like pull Bastro into the staircase with him and like shield him from this thing. Like once you announce like, yeah, it really doesn't like arcane magic, and you kind of explain to him the difference between like your magic and Firen's magic, I think he'll be like, yeah, you're gonna stand over here
Yeah,
for the
so
rest
I-
of the time.
I pulled this like crescent moon shaped staff, and I cast detect magic again on it. We'll say that's a divine cantrip I'm pulling from.
If we're correct, and this is the assumption we're given, right? Like if that's all
Yeah, if that's the
Hunky-dory.
information that like Bastro would understand and convey to Firen.
the other way I could see it is if it like if the spell is on the arcane tradition at
Yeah.
all.
Right,
We
right.
would-
If it's
I
an
don't think we
arcane
would do it in-
spell,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Sure. I have not acted yet then, until we understand what information
So-
we know.
First off, you can cast detect magic from the staff as a primal cantrip
Or divine.
or divine cantrip.
Let me look at it. Let me look at staves and their full rules. 'cause-
However, you can cast a spell from a staff only if you have that spell on your spell list.
Yeah, and detect magic is on all spell lists.
detect magic is a divine or primal spell, and from the rules of staves, the spell gains the appropriate trait for your
Ben.
magical tradition.
Does Firen have access to arcane or occult spells?
No, not at all.
Then you cannot cast True Strike.
Oh, no, I can. That's why my deity is Cernunnos, because that's a divine, it's his spell.
Okay.
Yeah, trust me, I
Sorry,
looked through this. Yeah.
I read the staff. I read the spell True Strike, and I was like, that doesn't click.
No,
Okay.
Hold the phone.
his deity's spell, the first level deity specific spell is True
No.
Strike.
That's amazing. I'm sorry. I just
Yeah, do your homework next time, Will.
So if this works the way we think it is, he's using the staff and with the divine detect magic. No arcane, no occult involved, and detecting
Correct.
magic on the feedback channel
nothing
on
happens.
the trap. Okay, and it registers as magical.
Correct.
Okay,
Weird.
Firen, this is yours to deal with.
Yeah, I can try to dispel this thing. I have dispel magic prepared.
And we don't think it's gonna stone lance you like you do everything. Like it. Just
That would be ironic to get stone lanced by this thing, but no, I think it's fine.
You want to do it?
Do
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Does it seem
Um,
to be like a wall? And I'm not going to get involved. You do your thing.
What level are you casting Dispel Magic at?
I gotta start preparing this at a higher level because I'm only casting at third level, which is like nothing. At this point, I gotta prepare it high or not at all. I think.
Yeah.
That feels like a spell you need to prepare at the level at which you
Yeah.
will be fighting.
So there's a chance that this is just impossible from the out of the gate. So I'll roll a counteract check. See what happens.
Ben, your next project for dispelling rumors of Reddit is making counteract a useful mechanic. You tried crafting, you tried
It's
blaster
actually-
caster.
It's actually so useful once you understand what's happening. It's
I mean
very
like an
difficult to
abjuration
understand
wizard.
what's
You know what I
happening.
mean? I think an abjuration wizard would be your next project. It's like, can I make counteracting like fun and useful for like our campaign?
I love making characters to prove Reddit wrong.
Fair.
Crafting they were spot on about. blaster casters, they're 100% wrong on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
there is
rolled-
a counter spell wizard build that is very good if you
Mhm.
spec the feats into it.
They finally
Sure.
figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rolled a 36.
That is a regular success. Nothing happens.
Yeah, it's too high.
Okay, so the high level's too high.
So, yeah, I feel the magic work, but I go. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare the spell well enough or powerful enough. I can't get rid of it today. But do we just leave it? I mean, we can't see anything through it, right?
No, I mean it is an opaque field.
I pick up a rock on the ground and like throw it at it.
Yeah, I mean you throw it at the wall. You watch as it impacts with the liquid-esque surface. You see ripples, but it does not go through.
Does not go through. Has
anyone tried touching it yet?
That's the thought I had. I want to take the butt of my staff. So not the. This is not how staffs work, but in my head I was like, not the magic end, the butt. Definitely not how staffs work though.
Not how staffs work at all. It's all the magic part.
The bottom.
Yeah,
Where they don't keep the magic.
The lid. The lid.
The lid.
The lid.
His
You know,
very
I have a
primal and
shield
divine
that
staff.
I have a shield that I never use. I'm gonna take off my shield and like with one edge of the shield, I'm gonna like press it up against the trap.
It feels like a stone wall, except you
Weird.
feel the kind of
Okay.
undulation and ripple.
Bro.
I don't know if I can come up with an appropriate like analogy for it.
As far as
Sure.
we know, that's the wall.
Correct.
Okay.
It
Okay.
feels as if it has the same like texture, it has the same like pushback as if it were stone. It's not giving as if it were clay. It's not, water. It's not liquid, but you feel the undulation. You see the undulation,
Yeah.
but everything that the tactile feel is that of stone.
I think about like non-Newtonian fluids like oobleck.
Right.
You guys ever do that in
Yeah.
elementary school? Like you push on it, and it's
Yep.
like
It's
it
it's
becomes
oobleck
solid.
plus because
Yeah.
it doesn't
Plus.
even give
Always feels like
to
stone.
slow. It
Yeah.
always feels as if stone.
You know what this is? This is just another example of Will trying to kill Bastro. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
Another
This is
example.
just a
You're
free
right.
shot at Bastro.
yeah, that's what it is.
You
Gotta make
touch
one
the
a day.
shield to the wall, and a spike emits at Bastro.
This is actually a Bastro feedback channel.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that
Bastro
trap.
activates the trap.
Any presence of a Bastro, and it like goes through Kashak's body and into Bastro's brain.
Just like
Kieran
No.
and Kashak. Just like snakes around both of you right in the back.
Farron, are we ready to move on?
I think this only impacts the specific spell tradition that Bastro uses. I don't think there's anything else to deal with here. It's just an FU Bastro wall.
Bastro, please leave that wall alone for, I will assume, the rest of time.
I'm going to cast all the arcane. No, yeah. Let's
do it.
Shall we
I
move
dare
on?
you.
go.
If I can, I don't know if I
Are
can
we
stand here.
really going? Oh, okay, here we go.
Let's perception check at the door. Is a 39.
Does a 37 hit? No, I'm kidding.
My arcane perception ability.
It's got the arcane trait. I don't know what to tell you. 39.
Sounds only. Listening at the door.
You hear faint scratching, almost like a needle rubbing
Oh,
against
that's-
stone.
Awful.
Mm.
Horrible.
Kashak, hold on
No,
1 second.
thank
Farron
you.
whispers under his breath, and
Does Farron know what Kashak heard?
No. He's here, sees him listening at the door, and he's gonna put his hand on Kushak's shoulders and cast heroism.
Mm,
Oh.
that's a big boy buff.
10 minutes, so we're not at risk of losing it with door stuff. But +1 status bonus to attack rolls, perception checks, saving throws, skill checks.
Are you kidding me? You're my favorite person that's ever lived. Holy shit.
No.
And he says, Kashak, there's a big fuck off spider that we need to kill. You will need this.
Thank you for your contribution. And he swings the door open. Bow in hand, of course, obviously, bow in hand. With his left
Weapons are
hand,
drawn.
with his right
Weapons
hand, he
are
opens the door.
drawn.
That's where we're going to go ahead and take a quick
Oh.
14-minute break. We'll be back at 8:35 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back in just a minute.
See you soon.
I'm back soon.
How y'all doing?
Nervous.
What do you expect from this room?
A giant fuck off spider. That's what
Big
I
spider.
expect.
Big
Okay.
spider.
A spider of some kind.
And so,
I think.
Jack, you open the door? Kashak opens the door?
I think threw the door open, I believe was the phrase. No, what was?
Yeah, throw the door open.
You throw the door open.